If you are now in the market for buying a home and it's your first time buying, you have come to the right place. Today, I'm going to share with you my 10 tips for first time buyers. And this is to help you navigate through that process. And I'm going to give you some pretty good advice here. So do you want to stick around for this one? Let's get started. Thanks for joining me. If you are here for your dose of real estate reality, you have come to the right place. I'm Jackie Baker. I'm a local real estate agent and I serve the northern New Jersey area. And I talk about all things real estate and we talk about New Jersey here as well. So if you like this content, especially today's video, do me a big favor and like it. And if you really like it and you want to stick around for more, I highly suggest you subscribe. Thanks. Lately, I have been getting calls from first-time buyers, and I will tell you, first-time buyers, love working with you guys. I really do. You're my favorite people. You really are, because I get such joy just searching for the homes, walking you through the process, and then seeing you get the keys at the end to your new home, to your first home ever. I can't tell you just how excited I get and how happy it makes me. So I thought this would be a good time to share with you my 10 tips for your first time buyers to help you get through that process. Now, some of this advice, I'm a little blunt. Look, I'm honest, I'm blunt. I'm from New Jersey. I'm going to tell you how it is. So there are a couple of things in here that might be a little hard to hear, but you got to hear it. You got to be ready for this and you got to know how to go into this buying your first home, because it's not as easy, but these 10 tips still get you through. Okay, number one, first and foremost, you need to get pre-approved for a mortgage. If you call me up and you say, hey, Jackie, I saw this house on Zillow. Can we go check it out? I'm going to ask you, are you pre-approved? Have you spoken with a lender yet? And if you say no, guess what I'm going to say? No, I'm not showing you that house. What? First thing you have to do is you have to speak to a lender and get pre-approved. You need to know exactly how much you qualify for. Because if I take you out and show you that house and you fall in love with it, and then we go try to get pre-approved, only to find out you don't qualify for that much and you can't afford that house, I mean, you're setting yourself up for not only disappointment, but on the other end, we've just wasted that seller's time, right? And that real estate agent, the listing agent's time, by asking them, hey, get your house ready. We want to show it. We want to see it, only to find out you can't afford it. But also, it just helps you understand what your budget is and how much of a house you can afford. So number one thing, don't call me up when you see a house from Zillow that you want to see unless you got pre-approved. And I'm speaking on behalf of pretty much every agent out there. Number two, make sure you have extra money set aside to cover your closing costs and also your inspections. A lot of people have this misconception that like, oh, okay, I have my 20% saved or my 10% saved, whatever it is you have, and then I have the mortgage and then we're all good to go. You got to take into account there are closing costs that you need to pay at closing, and that's in addition to your down payment. Your lender will tell you what the estimated closing costs are going to be. Now, depending on how much you're borrowing, your closing costs are going to be based off of that. So, I mean, I've seen closing costs as much as, $10,000 to $15,000 or higher, depending on, again, how much you're borrowing and how much the house is. So make sure you have that set aside. You also need money for inspections. You got to pay for your home inspection, if you're getting a radon test, if you're having a mold test, if you're having, say, if you need to get a structural engineer to check the structure of the house, you got to pay that guy. I would save probably about a couple $1,000s on the side to cover the cost of your inspections. Now, here in New Jersey, the cost for a home inspection, I've seen $600-700 on average. Some charge a little bit more depending on the types of inspections that they do, but in general, about $600-700. But then keep in mind, if you need additional inspections, that's going to cost you as well. So have that money set aside. Number three, once you know how much you can afford, what your budget is, research the neighborhoods of homes that are in your price point, right? Make sure you drive through the neighborhood at different points of each day just to see what the activity is like. Get an idea of how close the neighborhoods are to the schools, to shopping, to transportation, what have you. That's important. Do your research. And if you want to research and learn about different towns, you know where I'm going with this one. You got to use niche.com. Niche.com is an excellent resource, and this is where I direct all of my clients to check it out. It's going to give you all the data regarding the schools, the crime, the demographics, all that fun stuff. Do your research. Number 4, this is where I'm going to get a little hate, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. Do not take advice from your outside influences, such as your parents, family members, or your friends.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
Well, I've only been a man a few days, Dad.
Yeah.
Look, I understand, your parents, you want their approval, you want their help. Too many times I see parents kind of freak out and say, are you kidding me? Back in 1978, I paid $85,000 for my house. Are you crazy spending this kind of money on a home? It'll bring you down. You'll get really discouraged and it's upsetting. I understand, it's your parents, it's your family, you trust them. But when they bought a house years ago, it was much different than what's going on today. So you need to trust your real estate agent and your lender in this process. Don't get influenced and get scared by other people's opinions about the house you're buying. I met someone recently. He was all set. He was in attorney review, all ready to buy a house. And his family and friends were like, are you crazy? You're overpaying. Are you nuts? Now, this is a couple years ago, right? He decided to walk away from it because he got scared thinking, okay, I'm not going to buy this. They're right. I'm overpaying. Guess what? Now the prices have gone even higher and he loved this house. Now he can't find anything like it. So just come back to your real estate agent, ask them for advice and what they think. Don't rely on your family and friends. Don't listen to the negative chatter. Okay. Just don't do that. Trust me on that one. Number 5, once you are under contract, please, please, please do not buy furniture, do not buy a car, do not open any credit. Don't run to Home Depot and open up a credit card because you're going to need to buy tools and stuff for your new home. Dear God, do not do that. Because that is going to affect your mortgage and possibly jeopardize it. I've heard this many times. It hasn't happened to any of my clients, but I've heard this where people will go open up a new line of credit. They're going to want to buy furniture. They'll try to buy a new car. And guess what? They no longer qualify for the loan and then they lose the house. No! Do not do that. Wait until after closing. Trust me on this one. The furniture and the tools and the cars, that can wait. It can wait till the day after closing. Number 6, do not change jobs while you're under contract. Now, look, I understand if you're taking on a new job where you are going to be making more money. Okay, all right, that might be okay. But if you're making any type of job transition or if there's going to be a lapse, okay, where you're not going to work for a while until you start the next job, do not do that until after you close. Okay, the lenders are going to check your employment. I'm not kidding you, up until like the day before you close to make sure you are still employed. If they see that there has been a change in your employment or you're not employed, guess what? You won't qualify for the loan. So trust me on that one. Please wait until after closing before making any job transitions. Number 7, this is an important one for you first-time buyers. Do not buy a foreclosure or a short sale. Hear me out. Unless you are very handy or say you are a contractor yourself, or if you have a family member that's a contractor, maybe then I'll tell you, okay, it might be a good thing for you. But for the most part, I get this a lot. First-time buyers will call me up and say, oh my God, you see this foreclosure? It's super cheap. Can we look at it? And I'm going to tell them no. I always advise against it because number 1, you're not going to be paying that super low price because investors are going to come in and they're going to bid the heck out of it. And it's going to be way more money than what the actual listing price is. And the other thing is when you buy a foreclosure, the inspections that you're going to do, it's for your informational purpose only. The bank is not going to make any repairs on that home. And I will tell you, foreclosed homes are going to need a lot of repairs because the owners have just given up. They didn't have the money to make the repairs or to upkeep the house. So you're going to get stuck fixing all of the things that are going to need to be repaired. And I'm talking about major things like say if the furnace is bad, the water heater is shot, even the septic, in some cases, the bank won't address a septic tank issue. So you're walking into it right after you're done closing on it. You're walking into about tens of thousands of dollars, potentially tens of thousands of dollars of repairs on a foreclosed home. Same thing goes with short sales. People think short sales are a great deal. No, they're not. And I'll tell you, it's the same thing. Even though a short sale, the owner still owns the home, but they're underwater. Okay. So they owe more than what the house is actually worth. So the owner's going back to the bank and saying, hey, if I sell this, will you take an offer that's less than what we owe on the mortgage? And if the bank says yes, okay, great. But again, they're not going to address anything wrong with the house. So it's the same thing. And just a little side note here, short sales can take months to years before it closes. I'm not kidding you. They can take that long. It's not worth it. So if you see a short sale on Zillow, you see a foreclosure on Zillow, please skip right past it. Don't even bother, because if you call me up and say you want to see it, I'm going to tell you, forget it. We're not seeing it. I'm not doing that to you. It's going to cost you way too much money. Number 8, don't settle. I get it. You really want a house. Your friends are buying a house and you have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Say, the hell with it. I'm going to settle on it. I'll just take this house. Don't do that. Do not. If you don't feel 100% about a house, you're not comfortable with it, and you go ahead and move forward with that purchase, I guarantee you're going to be miserable. You're going to hate it. You're going to have so many regrets. And that is not a position that you want to be in. When I'm showing people a house and we're walking through and I ask them, do you see yourself living here? How do you feel being in this home? How do you feel about the location? What do you think about the neighborhood, the yard? All these things I ask them. If they feel like, yeah, I see myself living here, I feel good, I want to live here, I want to buy this, let's do it. If you have any doubts, I will tell you, no, it's not the right house. We're moving on to something else. If you have any concerns about a house, you need to move on. It's not worth it. Do not settle. Number 9, make sure you have money set aside for emergencies. Okay, look, you're not living in an apartment anymore. There's no landlord that's going to come and take care of like little emergency repairs, such as a leaky faucet or the toilet's not working. You need some money set aside because Murphy's Law, and I've heard this so many times, once people move into their house, something ends up, like breaking, like a refrigerator or whatever. And it happens. So make sure you have enough money set aside to cover those emergencies. God forbid, something minor comes up and you need to have that repaired, because you don't have a landlord anymore. No one's going to come fix it for you. Sorry. Number 10, the most important thing is you want to hire a real estate agent that is there to help you, not sell you a house. Look, I'm probably going to get flack for this, but there are some real estate agents out there that they're all about getting the sale. And they may give you poor advice to convince you that whatever negative things are going on with the house, that they'll convince you that you can look past it and try to push you to move forward with buying that house. Run away. Run away if you find that real estate agent is doing that. You want to hire a real estate agent that is going to listen to you and hear you out, hear your concerns, and most important, they're going to guide you. You want that agent to be honest and give you good advice. Now, look, I'm honest, I'm blunt, I'm from Jersey. This is how we roll. Sorry.
Yeah, baby.
And sometimes I am a little too honest to a fault, but I don't care. If I feel that this is not a good purchase for you, if I find that there's things in that house that you didn't even think about, I'm going to tell you. And if it's not a good fit, I'm going to tell you. That's how I roll. So find an agent that's going to roll the same way, and they're going to give you good advice, and they're not going to push you into buying that house. If you need more information about buying a home, about the home inspection process and all that fun stuff, I have a great playlist right over here. I think you really need to check that out. Thank you so much for watching me today. I'm Jackie Baker, and I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I will see you next time.